All right. Bourbon. All right, so this is our bottle right now. This is our current bourbon infinity bottle. Um, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different bourbons mixed in in this uh, this bottle here. And the proportions are all right here. So it is still 15% Woodford Reserve Distiller Select, and it is still 15% original Maker's Mark, and still almost 12% Wild Turkey 101 from 2021. But there is a bunch of different other bourbons in there just to make things interesting. So we have some new bourbons that we could put in there. The question is, how do we do this? Because normally what we do is I take about 1 dram out, we try it, and then I put 1 dram of the new bourbon that hasn't been there before in there. But we've been on a bourbon crack recently. As you know, we on last Saturday we tried the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, so we have some of this that can go in there. We can add this, but also yesterday we fresh opened the Weller Special Reserve original wheated bourbon, so we have this that can go in there. But also, if you remember, last week we also fresh cracked the Larceny Barrel Proof wheated bourbon. So we actually have 3 bourbons here that we could theoretically stick in here, but I'm not about to drink 150 milliliters of bourbon to make room for it. Drink through. So there's a there's a there's a couple things we could do. One of the options is I could do wee drams. So instead of doing 50 milliliters, I could do 15 milliliters. We could take, roughly 50 milliliters out and put roughly 45 to 50 milliliters in, a combination of these 3. Now that would have less impact on the bottle, and the new ones would be way less of a percentage of the overall makeup. We could get smashed and drink many bourbon, but we have another option. Maybe an interesting option. We could take some samples. I have about 60 sample bottles that are ready, fresh and ready. So in theory, I could instead drink like 30 milliliters and take 2 2-ounce samples. For future consideration, I suppose. And this is an idea that I had at some point to think about, like, well, if we're doing these infinity bottles, what happens if we take a sample of the infinity bottle now, and then we could do a taste comparison against the sample like many editions from now. And if we take 2 samples, we could even do it like a super duper change impact. Like we could take the sample of this current bottle twice, and then say we add like 10 more bottles to it in like 2-3 months time, say. Actually, I don't know if I'll have 10 bourbons in 2-3 months time. Actually, it's me, probably. We could then, like, when we do a new edition, we could even compare it against an old sample. So that might be what we're thinking. Of course, I did originally all have these sample bottles to do blind samples with, but I can just get more. They're like $1 per bottle. It's not expensive. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So I'll do a couple. We'll still sample. We'll still drink some, but I'll take a couple sample bottles, and we'll mark them with stickers that are not randomly assorted. We'll actually write what's on there. We'll date or something like that. Or I should. What I should do maybe is take a screenshot of this bottle configuration, and then when we like drink from this sample bottle, we can like associate it with the image file, so we can kind of see the difference. So we might have like an interesting, like maybe in a little while, like an interesting progression where we could taste like, I don't know, 3 or 4 editions of the Infinity bottle against itself, and just see the progression. So that would be kind of cool. So that's what I'm thinking we're going to do. I won't bore you guys too much with the maths. Bloop. So we're going to grab a funnel, and we'll take some samples, and we'll pour some out of here. So each one of these is 2 ounce. So we'll take 4 ounces in samples, and then we'll do like maybe roughly an ounce pour to taste it. And then the math doesn't work out there, does it? I'd have to do a 2 ounce pour. 2 ounce, 2 ounce. See, it's weird because 2 ounces is roughly 60 milliliters. And usually my pour is like 50 milliliters, because that's the highest, the widest point of the Glen is 50 milliliters. So this would be what? 120 and 30 is, yes, actually works out. So if I do like a 1 ounce pour and 2 2-ounce samples, that's 150 milliliters. And then we'll just do one of each of these at 50 milliliters into the bottle. Yo, Cap, how's it going? We're going to make some additions to our Bourbon Infinity bottle. So I think, I don't know if you were here 5 seconds ago, but I'll show it again. Bloop. So this is the current makeup of this a bottle here. So that is the exact distribution of the random assortment of mixed whiskeys in this bottle. And these three here are not in there yet. So this is the one that you seen us try yesterday. But we also have the Larceny and the Woodford Double. So we're going to take some samples of this and then replace it with some distribution of these. And we'll try it too. We'll try this and see what it tastes like. So I'll grab some Glens and a funnel. I'll be right back. Okay. Gotta check something real quick, and then we'll get going. What? You can come up here. Yeah, you can come up here as long as you don't get your furs in the infinity bottle. All right, so I'll take a couple samples. We'll not do. Where's my Sharpie? There it is. Ugh. All right, so I'll spare you guys some of the clerical work, but we'll still make sure we write something on these so that we know what the fuck they are. Oh, fuck, it's tight again. I don't know whatever happens with this thing, man. It's like, sometimes I go to pull this cork and it's fine. Like the last time we put something in here, I just pulled the cork and it was like, came right out. And like, it depends like how recently I like get so stuck in there. Hi. What are you up to? Okay, well, we don't need extra spices. So just, you're good if you chill. Get this fucking top off. Holy shit. What? You poking around. This really doesn't want to come off. You think you should get attention right this second. That's what it is. I know. Oh, careful. You wouldn't want to spill any of that red bank. What? I know. Showing booty on stream. I know. She's so lewd. Yeah. There has been one instance, quick change to hot tub. There's been one instance of really questionable content that occurred many months ago where there may or may not have been two cats up here. And one was cleaning the other in an inappropriate location. But that VOD is gone now. And I wasn't sure if it made sense to clip it. What kind of channel am I following? It's cats, whiskey, and gaming. Okay, that's the channel. So, I mean, take it or leave it. Okay. Let's see here. We don't want to like go too quick about this. This is a really horrible bottle to like hold for a protracted period of time. It is not terribly... Yeah. It is not terribly well suited. I kind of want to hold the funnel too so it doesn't like go all squirrely. Is that like overfull? No, that's good. All right. You know, probably would make some amount of sense for me to like have like a better surface to pour on, but really it's just this mouse mat material has just absorbed so much scotch and bourbon that it's just part of the game at this point. Ooh. Cat Whiskey and Gaming is a good channel description. Yeah, I mean that's the idea. That's what we're going for. I figured that was a winning combination, you know, but it's still a tough business around here. That being said, I've only been back in the game for, I guess, like 10 months now, so. Alright, so we have our infinity samples here. How should we name these? Of course, the cat is on my labels. Can I have that? So I'll put these up here, like way up on the bottle instead of on the bottom. That way, like, I don't get it confused with some of my blind samples. And I'll probably shouldn't store them in the same box. I'll store them in a different place. So what day is it? It is the 19th of December, 2024. What if we just write like 19, 12, 24? That's definitely not looking like some kind of code. $19, 12, 24. Boom. I should also tell. This is Bourbon. Let's just go with a capital B. This is not a very big label. Bourbon on the 19th of December 2024. Bourbon. Because I get the feeling we might end up with like a community bottle samples and Irish bottle samples and maybe smoky Scotch samples at some point too. So let's not make sure we distinguish that. So we got our two samples. Boom. For future considerations. And now we'll pour ourselves a dram to taste. And of course, if we remember, this is our current. This is the current dram here. Is this combination? And this spreadsheet is available in my channel description too. In the spirits section, there's a link to this spreadsheet. It is publicly available, as well as the Irish one and the community bottle that we created. And probably we'll have some more eventually. It's just a matter of getting to it. So if you do want to see this spreadsheet, it's in the description, along with my like full list of spirits is also down there too. Okay, so now we're gonna let that rest for a minute. Woodford Reserve Double Oak, I had that last month. It was good. Yeah, it's quite tasty. It is quite sweet and creamy. Downplay on the oakiness. Not too spicy. Very approachable. Not sharp in any way. Very soft and rounded. All of that, pancakes, pancake syrup kind of flavor. It's got all the nice syrupy sweet notes. I need the bigger funnel. Hold on. It's quite a tasty. This is quite a tasty one right here. I don't know where my medium-sized funnel went, but I have the jumbo-size one. That's going to work. It's a little floppy. I have one that's a size smaller than this, but that should work. It's fine. There's no way. There's no way that's going to be an issue. All right, so we did 120 milliliters in samples and roughly 50 in our Glen here. So we'll do roughly 50 of each of these, and we'll be on our way. So first we'll get that Weller Special Reserve in there. And of course we use this very scientific method of measuring it with a Glen. Have you sampled the Infinity bottle? This is the sample that we're going to taste today. I'm just kind of letting it rest. So we will try it here in a minute. Feels like I just need a little bit more, but it's hard to like not slobber all over the fucking desk. All right. And with that, and we can kind of just use the same Glen for all these because it's all going in the same place. So we got some Weller in there. And we'll go for the Larceny barrel proof here. This is another wheated bourbon. But this one is at barrel strength. I think it's 125.4 proof. So just packing a little bit of heat there. Bottle pour is exponentially better. There's nice color on this one. All right, some of that. And now the Woodford double oaked here. And we still have we still have an Elijah Craig barrel proof here too that's sealed that we'll get to eventually, and that'll also end up in here. After we open it on some Wednesday. This Woodford has such a nice color. Look at that. Such a dark coloration there. Most expensive. I don't have anything that's over $200. So for me, it's like I'm still in that stage where I'm exploring everything that's in like the mid-range budget realm. I don't have any like turbo bottles at this point, but I have several bottles that are quite close to $200 or about $200. So I think the ones that are roughly around that price point are, and again, this is 200 Canadian dollars in my market. So there's something to be said for that. Things don't tend to go on sale where I am. So it's kind of like regular price. But the Lagavulin 16, I think, is like up there. There's the Peerless High Rise up there. What else is there? I mean, if I look at the list, it should say roughly else. What else is really up there? Oh, the Litchig 9-year-old red wine cask matured is pretty up there. What else is there? Those are probably the worst offenders. But I don't have anything that's like super duper expensive. I kind of like I'm trying to hit all of the like mid-range kind of spirits, so I kind of have a good experience level with a lot of different distilleries and a lot of different styles. And then once I kind of have all that stuff sorted, then there's only one place to go, and that's up in price. All right, in with this thing. That looks like it's slightly not enough compared to what was in there before. I must have, maybe these samples were a little too overfilled. That could have been what happened. They are right at the top. So what we'll do is, well, I'm just going to add maybe like another little bit more of this one. I think those samples were probably just slightly more than 2 ounces. And again, that spreadsheet's not a perfect science. We kind of just eyeball it for the most part, so I'm not too worried if it's a little off, but it's roughly correct. All right. We'll do like another 30 of this Weller, and that'll be right where we should be. So that was like, what, 50, 50, 50, 180? So I kind of took like 6 ounces. So we did 3 ounces of Weller and 2 ounces of the other ones. Does that make sense? Or no, not 3. It was like 50 milliliters, 50 milliliters, and 30 and 50 is 80. Okay. So we know roughly what we're doing. And we'll adjust our spreadsheet here in a minute. Ooh, I missed what you said. I had a quick call from the boss. Oh, about the expensive spirits thing. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have anything that's super turbo expensive because I'm kind of like just exploring like all the different like distilleries and styles and options around the mid-range price point. I do have like 3 or 4 things that are coming up on 200 Canadian dollars, but nothing is super turbo expensive. I don't have like that $1,000 bottle hidden in the back or anything. Because for me, like, instead of like, for example, I'd love to have a Lafroig 25-year-old cask strength, but it's for like a 2022 release that's near me is 750 Canadian dollars. I would just rather go and buy 6 or 7 mid-range bottles of distilleries and styles I've never had before, because that's kind of like what I would prefer to do, is try to explore all the options that are available to me. I have some higher priced ones, but it's only like 3 or 4 that are like coming up on $200. And then kind of like eventually, once I feel like I've explored everything around the mid price point, then all you can go do is go up after that. Like after you've tried all the like 12-year-olds and 15-year-olds, you start to get to the 18-year-olds, and those 18s can be pricey. Ah, Remy Martin, the King Louis, you mean the $5,000 bottle? Oh, get in there. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like we were talking before about like the Japanese malt bar, is if you can go to a bar and get like single pours, you can try some really expensive stuff for like a reasonable amount of money. Guy pouring it was shaking. That's wild. It was probably his first time touching the King Louis bottle. But it's like it's just an interesting thing, right? Is yeah, the bottle's like 5,000 Canadian, but what's the math on a pour then? It's still really expensive for a pour. How was it though? That's what the important question is. Did you feel like it was worth? Better yet, did you shoot it or did you savor it? All right. Savor it. Oh, that's. I'm glad to hear that. Not shooting a $300 shot. I mean, some people like to party hard. I don't judge. I would just say, if you did, maybe you missed out. All right, so we added our bourbons in there. Our science experiment's roughly over, and now we're gonna give this a try here. We're kind of running a little late on time, but that's okay. We'll go over just for a minute, just to give some good notes on this dram. It was good, but I feel like I didn't appreciate it as much. We got it because my buddy got a promotion and was my last day living in the South. Oh, yeah, moving away. That's a good reason. Um, it's one of those things where, to like, when it comes to expensive spirits, and I'm assuming expensive cognac is probably the same. But when we talk about like, for example, if you want to compare like a 25-year-old Scotch to a 12-year-old Scotch, if the 12-year-old Scotch is well made and not like a 40 proof, 40% alcohol, like really watery thing, you don't necessarily get better. It's not like a better product. It's just a different product. There's a guy that kind of developed this point in the best way possible in a short sense to me. It's like some notes in spirits are very expensive. So in order to get certain flavors out of a spirit, they're only possible with like crazy amounts of age and quality. And to get those particular tastes, it's very expensive. But that doesn't mean it's like necessarily better quality alcohol, just that it can give you some flavor experiences you wouldn't have without spending that kind of money, because it needs a certain amount of age and care. Can we do it again after I develop more of a palate? Yeah, no, definitely. If you're get some experience with, like, in this case, you would want to like try to sample, your VSOP cognacs and maybe some of your XO cognacs, and then kind of get a taste for that stuff, and then you'll probably appreciate more those really high end, extra old cognacs, which I do not have that palate. I have a couple cognacs. We're working on cognac, but my cognac palate is probably not much better than yours. I might be able to tolerate the alcohol better, but in terms of like finding notes in cognac, it's similar, but I don't have a lot of experience with cognac. Same thing with beer, yeah, for sure. I do think it's the kind of thing though where, like, if you do experience like high end spirits, the best time is when you're with other people, right? That's like what you want. You don't want to like hoard your best alcohol. Just you want it to be part of a good experience, right? Because some people, they're like, well, I never want to drink from this bottle because it's expensive and I only have so much and I want to save it for a special occasion. Well, what occasion is it? You know, occasion with your friends and family doesn't get much better than that. So we're going to take a sample of this infinity bottle, and again, a quick refresher, this is roughly what it looks like right now. So this is what's in the glass. And at the end of the day, this is a bourbon. It's going to have bourbon notes. It's just however those bourbon notes present with this makeup is maybe quite wildly different than anything else. Which is what makes it interesting. I'm trying to get words out. I haven't even consumed alcohol yet. So we've had this resting for a while. For me, it's definitely like pretty red fruit forward. It's kind of really heavy-handed on that cherry note. And we rested this for quite a while, so you would think that the sweetnesses would definitely have made presence, but it's definitely heavy on like a cherry sweetness or a cherry fruit. There's some spiciness, a little bit of oak, but it's mostly on that cherry. Not really getting like the kind of like buttery note you sometimes get. The spice is pretty played down. The oak is pretty played down. I don't really get a super big brown sugar, caramel kind of thing. It's not present right away. All right, I'm gonna try another palette. Cheers. Oh, that's so interesting. This combination right now, it's coming out so fruity. It's like so red fruity right now. It's definitely like the prominent character. Sorry, I've been in meetings all morning. Man, you gotta work, dude. Just how it is. Sorry that I couldn't even attend your broadcast for more than 30 seconds. That being said, my work schedule is changing, so it's going to be interesting. There's good news and bad news. This is good news and bad news. Okay, a little bit of that sweetness is in there now. Getting a little bit of that brown sugar, but it's kind of really in the spice. Yeah, so I'm in January, I'm being forced back to 5 days a week. So, the con is, or no, the pro is I don't have to go to work till 2 hours later. So in theory, that means I could be there at the start of your broadcast for like maybe an hour at best. The bad news is I don't get a day off in the week. So that means that there's no chance that I'll be able to consume alcohol while you're live. Might see you more, but no day off to see you the whole time, and no alcohol. feel like it's coming here too. Yeah. I think everything's cracking down a little bit. We're in that period where they're trying to get as much out of everybody as possible. 4-day work week sounds way better than 5. It is. Yes, that's why I enjoyed having it. And I had it for a few years. They were like, "Hey, do you want to work 4 10s instead of 5 days a week?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And then apparently a few years later, they're like, we're not doing that anymore." Unlucky. Ooh. Might get back on a compressed schedule. If that's the case. What's a compressed schedule? That's BS. Yeah, a little bit. I basically it was always considered a pilot program. So it was kind of like, here's this 10-hour pilot program, and everyone was like, "Yay!" And pretty much my whole team was on this 10-hour pilot program, and then it went on for a year, and they're like, "Well, we're extending the pilot program for another year," and it kept going on, but it was still a pilot program, despite it being a program for several years. And then like it went back around to renewal date again, and then they're like, we're not renewing it this time. Get fucked. And I'm like, okay, great. And everyone's pissed. Pretty much everyone on my shift is pissed. You can work an extra hour every day to have a day off every 2 weeks. That sounds miserable. It's like the worst of both the schedules. Not really, it's government. I'm not sure what you mean, but I wouldn't want to work an extra hour every day to give a day off every 2 weeks. In my line of work. That's an extra coffee and 2 meetings that could have been emails. Yeah. I'm getting like a weird like Honeycrisp apple note out of this, and I don't know why. It's so fruity. This bottle right now is really fruity. It's because when my wife works, she digs it. Huh. Yeah, I wouldn't like it, but I think it's because like you would feel the extra hour. To me, I would feel the extra hour every day, but only get the day off like twice a month. That seems rough. Whereas on 2 hours, it's like you get that day off every week. We get free food when we have meetings. Yeah. Yeah, meetings, probably a minus in productivity, but a plus in doing work. Even in my workplace, they started doing a like random 15-minute meeting in the middle of the shift to like see how things are going. And honestly, most of the time it's we sit around and waste 15 minutes. Yeah, this bottle's so weird right now. It's like fresh, fruity apples. It's what the Rabbit Hole Cave Hill wanted to be. It's so weird. There's a note in here for me that's um, like Del Monte fruit cups, if you know what I mean. You won't get that here. Yeah. And this bottle right now reminds me of the Rabbit Hole Cave Hill. It's like got this weird fruity nose, and it like baits you into thinking it's going to be kind of like scotch. And then you drink it and it's like, bam, bitch, this is bourbon. And you're like, oh shit. Paid no money but free pizza. That's how it works, don't you know? The meme that pops into my head is the Flex Seal commercial where where he throws the Flex Seal on the like tank of water that's cracked, and the tank of water that's cracked is like company morale, and the Flex Seal is pizza party. I'd have to find that. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. Oh, this is the wrong. It's the wrong tab to do that in. Oh yeah, yeah, here it is. This is the exact image that I was thinking of. Does my image thing work? It probably doesn't. Let's just remove it. My image thing never works. Add image. New image. Browse. Here. It is, yeah. Here. this. This is the motto of really of corporate America. Some interesting spiciness in here. This bottle's in a good state right now, actually. There's some interesting sets of aromas coming out, and it's developing. Palate is like slightly too spicy and oaky, but there's a bit of fruity character in there. There's a little bit of sweetness. The sweet notes are really downplayed right now, which is not, maybe not optimal. Whoa, whoa, that's the wrong thing to get rid of. This. The building I work in is old and it's dated, yeah. Yeah, that's government for you. It what am I thinking of? There is a building. What was that building downtown before? Was it the judges, the building that Blaine Higgs just let rot?
Oh,
Do you remember that building?
yeah. It was like an office building. It was
Oh, that's right.
yeah, and then he just left it.
Yeah, we had a giant building downtown that was like for government office space that the government before Blaine Higgs was supposed to was like planning to turn it into like the new courthouse, and then Blaine Higgs got in and he was just like, fuck this contract, and just tore it up basically. And we have like a giant fucking office building that's like huge in downtown of the capital that just looks like some rotten tenement. It's like just dilapidated as hell in the right in the middle of downtown because Blaine Higgs didn't want to pay the money to have it used for anything. He's gone now. But like it didn't get used for social housing or anything. It's just this huge structure that the government was like, "Yeah, no, we don't want to fix this. Let's just leave it there." It's a little spicy on the nose though. There's that fresh Honeycrisp apple note. I'm glad I took samples. I'm glad we took 4 ounces, maybe a little more than 4 ounces of samples of the bottle in this state. Because it's kind of wild. It's got like a fresh Honeycrisp apple scent to it in with the other notes. The palate's not that good, but yeah, the palate's just like all slight fruit, oaky and spicy and like heavy-handed. Not my favorite. The sweetness is like gone out of it. It really does remind me of the Rabbit Hole Cave Hill. This thing. It really reminds me of this, where like the nose is kind of weird, fruity thing, kind of like scotch, and you drink it and it's like bourbon, except they forgot to put the sweet part in. You know what needs to happen next in that bottle? What needs to happen next, Bentorius? Elaborate. I'm not putting Malort in it. Fuck off. We can't ruin it with Red Bank. The Red Bank's not even sweet. It's like someone put a Werther's Original in a 4-gallon of distilled water. Something like that. Werther's is great. Yeah, there's a few scotches that kind of get a bit of that Werther's flavor, but it's kind of like hard to nail on exactly. You got to hit that super turbo butterscotchy note, which is kind of hard to do. Actually, Canadians are probably the best at getting close. It's not even bourbon, is it? No, it's blended Canadian whiskey. But yeah, this Infinity bottle right now is just like a weird, like mirror image of the Cave Hill. It's got a bright, sweet kind of apple scent. It's got this Honeycrisp apple note, a little bit spicy. It really comes across as like a deep apple note. A little bit of sweetness in there. But when you drink it, it drinks like a bourbon that they forgot to put the sweet part in. And it's all oaky and spicy and a little bit fruity, which is, I feel like, exactly what happened with the Cave Hill. It's like got a fruity, like scotchiness on the nose. And then they forgot to put the sweet part in on the palate. Clearly that 10% honey malted barley just doesn't do it. It doesn't do it in the sweet department. I think it might be to do with something to do with it being like younger. I'm not a master of bourbon, so I don't know if like the sweet notes on bourbon tend to come later in the aging process, because this one we know is younger. It's like got that 3-year age statement on the back, right? So technically this is a 3-year bourbon. So I'm wondering if some of those deep sweet notes happen in later stages of the aging. Like, for example, we talk about the Woodford That's super turbo sweet, but it's got like that toasted barrel finish. So it like kind of sets it apart a little bit. Maybe it's a toast thing. I don't know. But the degree to which this smells like a Honeycrisp apple to me is kind of uncanny. But it's way too spicy and oaky on the palate. Kind of, unfortunately so. But we'll see how this progresses. So we have 2 samples. We still have the Elijah Craig barrel proof. We'll get this in there eventually when we crack it. And also kind of in the near term, I want to get like a maker's, like straight up makers and a maker's cask strength. So I can try to like hone in on whatever the hell's going on with that maker's profile that I just don't understand. I can't quite get my hand on it for some reason. And there's also that cheap bourbon deal that I keep thinking about. That's like $50 off 3 bourbons, but you have to buy all 3. This kind of seems like a good value to wind up with a bunch of random bourbons around. And that being said, there's also some Canadian whiskeys on my radar too. But at the same time, there's so much Scotch. There's too much. We haven't had a cognac in a while. Maybe I should buy a gin. It's time to give rum some love. There's too many. There's too many spirits. How can one hold all the spirits? Time for some moonshine. That, I don't know. Actually, one thing I would like to try is peated new make. That sounds like a wild time. Peated new make. I'll be all about trying some peated new make. Some like Ardbeg new make, you know what I mean? Or some Lafroig new make. I bet you that's I bet you that's really wild. I bet you that's a fucking slap in the face. Yeah. There's still too many things. There's too many things to try. But we'll try them. The upside of having more whiskeys around is you can't possibly drink from all of them, so they last longer. And of course, we still have the gift here. We still have our mom's Santa present, whatever it is. Well, probably I might do. We're going out of town on the 23rd, so either. I don't know if it makes more sense for you guys to do the evening on the 23rd or the morning of Christmas Eve morning. Almost kind of whatever makes more sense for you guys. Harry Potter wrapping is the tits. Yeah, my son loves Harry Potter, so we got some Harry Potter wrapping paper. So that was what was around. And part of the idea though is like since all of the characters are facing up, we know this isn't upside down. So that's a good thing. It being upside down might be bad. Probably wouldn't be that bad, but a little bad. I really hope I got that right. Well, if it's upside down right now, we might have some cork bits in the whiskey as the cork gets fried by the high proof liquor. But hopefully that's not the case. You would also think it would kind of like, well, yeah, you think it would like not settle, you know, but I don't know. Oh, shit. I'm sure it's fine.
I'm pretty sure I did. I think I did it that way. Purpose?
Yeah, that's what you told me when you gave it to me, is you did it that way on purpose.
But like, message you sent me this.
That's true. Mom might have the ADHD superpower.
You say that or someone else?
No, I said that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's upright.
It's upright. Okay, good. That's good.
That's why I picked that one up the car.
Gotta bounce for lunch. Have a great weekend. Yeah, we're about to be done here anyway. We're 20 minutes over time, but we kind of like spend a lot of time fucking mixing around with our infinity bottle. And I think I started whiskey a little bit late too. Yeah. So like I said, schedules. My work schedule's changing. I don't know what that means for you guys. At least, at minimum, nothing will change. But there's some world where I might try to sneak in some extra time every day. We'll see. We'll open this 23rd or 24th, something like that. We'll see what's up with that. We got more bourbons and more scotch to come. Live review tomorrow. We're also available on YouTube if you're a YouTube enjoyer. My YouTube link is down there. I'm also live on YouTube. We'll start posting stuff on YouTube. Also, my Discord server is still available as well for anyone out in the metaverse who's not hanging out in here. There's the Discord server. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys spend your time being here. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy your Red Banks. Peace.